bring up the front page of today's West Australian. The headline there, how good is WA?
That's a very good headline, isn't it?
I mean, it speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Well, it's obviously a play on words on his election night pronouncement in 2019. How good is Queensland when they won 23 of 30 seats there? And I think the scale of this visit, the fact he's going to see the West Coast Eagles on Friday night rather than going back to his family, shows a confirmation from Scott Morrison that his Crosby Textor polling shows they've got a few issues in WA. The McGowan effect is working Labor's way, and there's 3 seats in play for them, which, of course, given they're basically a minority government, is a concern. They expect to pick up 3 seats in New South Wales, by the way. At the moment, the way the federal polling's going seems to be going with the popularity of the premiers.
Yeah.
Of course, New South Wales is blue. So, I just think that's a really clever one with the kid giving Scott Morrison the bird as well. So, not everyone in WA likes him because there's still a perception he supported Clive Palmer's hard borders case. So Scott Morrison's run away from that a million miles an hour. Today he'll be meeting GPs about the vaccine there, which will be interesting. He's also meeting a community forum in the seat of Stirling, which is set to be abolished. So that's an interesting choice as well. Yeah,
well, as you said, it's this McGowan effect. So he's got a lot of... needs to do a lot in that stage because it's been an interesting few months. Let's move on now. The unemployment figures are out today. Now, this will be the last that include JobKeeper.
Yeah, so I'm not actually paying much attention to this today,
okay,
but I thought I would raise it just to let viewers know before they see it this morning that it's not a true picture of where we're at because it's to March 15. So it'll probably be in the 5s again. The real test will be next month. We'll cover it obviously on Sky News, but you won't expect a post-JobKeeper bump today, as Danica just pointed out, and that's the main thing to know about.
All right, well, let's move on now to the vaccine rollout. Scott Morrison wants mass vaccination hubs. But is the question here, Andrew, we don't even have enough vaccines right now.
Yeah, look, he's got major problems, hasn't he? And you've really got to throw the kitchen sink at it at this point. Instead, he's doing twice weekly National Cabinet Talkfest. So I think he just needs to take a few risks, which he's not really big on. Put a military leader in charge, get a multi-agency approach. Don't just leave it to the Federal Department of Health. There's already internal rumblings. Brendan Murphy's led them astray on this one. And just throw tens of billions at it, frankly, because we don't want to be left behind. Having said that, if you don't have everyone vaccinated before the next election, which is what it looks like at the daily rate at the moment, it would take 2 years or so. That's, in a way, not a bad dilemma to have, because once everyone's vaccinated, you're going to have to make some politically really tough decisions around international borders. Now, if everyone's not vaccinated before that election, he doesn't have to make it by then. So that is at least one political plus from Scott Morrison, but he knows the concern for him is this view that he's only really got one job this year, and if he's seen as incompetent in that space, it's not working well for him in what's looking to be a tight election anyhow.
What about National Cabinet? Because it's now meeting twice a week. It's the first time we've seen leaders get together like that since the height of the pandemic last year. Is this a concession? Do you think that things aren't going well? Yeah,
I thought it was a clear concession, and also a move to bring the states in for any blame, perhaps. But look, I think it shows we know the states are better at service delivery than the feds, right? So last year, I was probably one of the critics of him leaving everything to the states. I think this vaccination thing proves that was actually the right thing to do. If they take credit, so be it. You'll still win a federal election as long as things are going right. If things are going wrong, because you're trying to get the credit, that can cost you an election. So he's made that calculation now, and he knows he needs the help of the states.
Well, it's particularly because, for example, New South Wales has been quite critical of the vaccine rollout. We've heard from Brad Hazzard, but even in the last few days, the Premier, Gladys Berejiklian, has also been critical of it.
Yeah, and it's my understanding, I heard whispers a few months ago they were privately critical of it as pretty shambolic, but they were keeping their silence really and giving them a chance. But when some criticism came over the states' approach, when it looked like the blame game was starting, they came out full barrels, didn't they? So it was a blue-on-blue attack from Berejiklian on Morrison. So the other issue there, Danica, is you can have as many national cabinets as you want. These guys don't trust each other at all. And the states have a view the feds haven't been telling them the full story on vaccinations, that they're about the media announcement before consulting with them. So I don't know how well that's going to proceed going forward.